Hey YouTube family, thank you for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is LaShonda. I am a multi-talented, multifaceted individual, just sharing a piece of my world, mostly in the form of my thoughts, interests, and insights. Every video I post is for entertainment purposes only. Anything I share is coming from my personal perspective and how I perceive things. I am sarcastic, I make offhanded jokes, and I'm socially awkward. And I don't apologize for it because it's not intended to harm anyone. Either I'm for you or I'm not. There's really no in between. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about self-love, self-care, and non-judgment of self. So, do you have a regular self-care practice? How do you navigate not judging yourself? How do you show yourself love on a daily basis? I think these are important questions to ask ourselves. Over the past year, I've taken the time to answer these questions for myself, and it has been so helpful to my state of being. So a little bit about my journey in regards to this topic. I'm someone who's always been very critical of myself due to my own desire to not harm anyone or be viewed in a certain way, or perfectionism. I've judged myself in worse ways than anyone could have possibly judged me. I've been codependent on others for validation, and I've been a people pleaser. Loving myself was important to me, but I spent a good portion of my life putting others' feelings before my own, and I didn't realize that this was a way that I was not loving myself. I was suppressing my own feelings to avoid conflict, squirrels, and a lot of times gaslighting myself because of my hypersensitivity. I found out at the end of 2022 that I have ADHD, and that started a spiral of revelations about myself, and it initiated a lot of healing within me. And then last year, a situationship I had been a part of for about 2 years ended. I ended things because I didn't feel like the energy that I was putting out was being reciprocated, and I also felt like my energy was being affected by him even when he wasn't in my presence. After that, I began questioning why I always attracted emotionally unavailable men. And so I know too much about universal laws, so I knew that it had to be something that was within me because it was being reflected back at me, and I started to sit with that. Began to realize that I was being emotionally unavailable to myself. This was a huge catalyst for change for me. My inner child was crying out for some attention and love, and I was neglecting her, and she was manifesting in men that neglected me as well, so that I could see how I was doing this to myself. I also learned during this same time how being energetically connected through adult things, also known as soul ties, could affect my own energetic field. So I'd already been very deep into psychology for a while and studied Jung to some extent years ago, but I went through a very materialist phase during my journey, and my study of the subconscious and unconscious has ceased because I was too focused on trying to make the external world change. I started back with my deeper studies in psychology, philosophy, and the occult last year, and began to consciously do shadow work. And I say consciously because once I learned what shadow work was, I understood that I'd been doing it for a good portion of my life. I realized that though I had been expending my energy putting my best foot forward for everyone but myself, that was a straw that broke the camel's back. I began to cut off things and people that I've been giving passes to for years because they were friends or family. I began to say no, began to make myself a priority. As challenging as this was, I knew I had to do it to restore peace and balance to my life. My natural state is calm and peaceful. I only realized that once I began to really listen to my intuition and separate myself from things and people that disrupt my natural state. I learned my triggers over the years and started working on them. Last year was a big purge, but I've been doing this work on myself for over a decade. I knew that I would need to after leaving the environment I was raised in. If you're into the occult, basically what I've been doing is a lot of work on my lower energy center. So within this last year, as far as clearing out stagnant energy and calling my energy back, I've slept a lot. So speaking of sleeping, that's where we'll kind of veer off into self-care routines. And I think non-judgment can be tied into this as well. Self-care is a very individualized practice, but I'll name a few of my own self-care routines that work for me. Working out is a big one because I like to eat. Drinking plenty of water, journaling, eating well, but also eating for pleasure. Nature walks, sunbathing, grounding, minding my body. If it says sleep, I sleep. Making time to be in a state of flow, long baths, feeding my mind knowledge, doing things I enjoy, even the small things. These things have been pretty consistent for me over the years, but I have been prioritizing them for the past year. Trying to fit into society's boxes was really beginning to take its toll on me. So I started suffering from burnout. That shit was not fun. I'm very sensitive to the energy of others, so my recharge routine is extensive, but it is very necessary, and I will always put that first. I don't think anyone's self-care routine has to look the same. You might be inspired to try something someone else does, but if it doesn't work for you, don't force it. It has to come naturally. When I started working out, it was very important that on top of the gym, I did things like ride my bike in nature or go on nature walks or play racquetball. I love to play, so using play as a physical activity was important for me because it came naturally. It helped me to maintain consistency with the more strenuous stuff. Nature is magnificent to me, but some people don't like to be hot. That's why it's so important to do what feels natural for you. On a physical appearance level, personally, I'm very low maintenance. My hair doesn't really stay styled for long enough for me to want to spend money getting it done. I don't care for acrylic nails like that on a regular basis. I mean, special occasions, they're great, but eventually I just end up taking them off and letting my nails come back natural. Love makeup from an aesthetic standpoint, and I think it's great on other people. I just don't want to do it every day. It's not that big of a deal for me personally. Those are just examples of things other people consider self-care that I don't care about very much. In fact, to me, those things tend to cause me stress. Being in a crowded salon is stressful for me. But that goes back to my sensitivity I don't like things tight on my skin or touching me like that. And part of not judging myself was understanding that my self-care does not have to look like what others are doing. It's not a competition on who has the best self-care routine. As long as you're honoring yourself in that moment, that's what matters. Non-judgment is a big deal too when it comes to rest. A lot of the recovery on our bodies happens when we're sleeping. And I had to learn not to be critical of myself about when I just wanted to sleep. I've had a very trauma-intensive life, one thing after another since I was a baby. My nervous system was shot. I've slept a good portion of the last year, but I wouldn't change it for the world because it's changed me in ways that I can't even explain. So with self-care being addressed, I wanted to talk about self-love and non-judgment of self together because I think these two things have to go hand in hand. I don't think self-love has to be a journey. I think it has to be something that just is. I don't think it needs to be a destination. Whole time I've been working on myself has been great. It was what I needed, but I think I was missing the fact that I don't need to do anything to love myself. Just by working on myself, that was loving myself. It was never a journey. It just was. I loved myself enough to know that I could do better things for my health and my life. I loved myself enough to say no to things I knew would not be good for me. I loved myself enough not to judge a lot of things about myself. There was just more that I did not realize that I was still judging. So I had to go deeper. So over the past year, there's been this grand purging of energy, and I've loved myself through it like no other time in my life. I've released a lot with love. The idea that I'll love myself when I will love myself when is all wrong. I don't care where you are on your rites of passage, your journey through life. Love yourself right now, right here. No matter what you think you still need to work on, it doesn't matter right now. Loving yourself in the now moment is so important because it's all you have right now. The more you love yourself in the now moment, the more your actions will show that in the outer world. It doesn't have to be a fight. Forget everything you know about why you shouldn't love yourself and just do it. So with that being said, I'm going to end this right here. Remember to take care of yourself. Love yourself right now. And fuck judgment. Be you. Always be you. If you made it this far, I want to thank you for watching the entire video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If so, and you would like to continue to see more videos like this one, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. I want to extend my deepest gratitude for your support and participation. Any questions, comments, and or caveats are very much welcome. And if you have any subjects or topics you would like me to cover in the area of self-development, spirituality, philosophy, and science, you can leave them in the comment section below. May your day be great. I know mine will. Look at this.